Hi, hello, good evening, and good day, wherever you are. This is Strat Chat, and we are joined by the incomparable, the ever effervescent Bella, fresh out of her eviction from the Big Brother Australia house, much to our chagrin. Um,
Yeah.
Oh, so sad.
so
Yeah.
sad, but honestly, also like a little bittersweet because we're super excited to talk to you. So, win, lose, win, lose. So, definitely got a couple of questions for you. We don't want to waste any time, so let's just hop on into it.
Amazing.
I am Kyle Petty, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-hosts John Dunphy and Gina Morgino, and this is Strat Chat. You can find us on all the socials at Strat Chat Pod, and you can also find us after the fact on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to receive your podcasts. Once again, we've got Bella here. Thanks to all of our wonderful friends at Channel 7 for making this happen. How is your morning going? You are absolutely glowing.
Oh, stop it. My morning's gone really well. I'm in a lot to digest after seeing everything from my eviction last night. But yeah, no, I'm excited to be here.
Excellent. We're excited to have you. So thank you again. Thanks for joining us. First thing to kick it off, how familiar were you with Big Brother before you entered this house and before you entered the game?
So I watched Big Brother probably back in 2009, like the OG Big Brother, like Gold Coast, like in that house. But after that, I had not watched it in years. So going into it, I was that clueless, probably to my downfall, but that clueless. I had no idea what was going on.
Amazing.
Love that.
That's really funny.
So this is obviously very different from the version that you knew before. So after this was rebooted, you had no idea what the format was or anything like that.
No, and like when I was planning to go into it, I was doing all my shopping and I was buying all this ugly activewear because I was like prepared to have like food and like random stuff thrown at us and like it just being so full on. But no, I had to look pretty every day. So like I really had no idea what I was in for.
That's really interesting. So that means, did you know what the theme of this season was, like before you applied or anything like that? Did you realize you were entering, Big Brother's House of Love?
I was aware of it. However, it was more like made out to me like, like it's all like attractive young singles, but the whole finding someone and you have like wasn't pushed super hard. It was more about, the game and, just regular Big Brother. So yeah, I knew, but I didn't fully understand exactly what I was going into.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
I've got a question for you here, because obviously you came into the game as an intruder. And I know that you said that you came in and you felt like you were clueless and had no idea what was going on. But I have to imagine that a lot of that feeling probably was, the fact that you were an intruder. So you're coming into the house, people have already made relationships. Like what was it like? How much of an effect do you think it had on your game coming in late, having to catch up on getting to know everybody and all that?
Yeah. I was shocked. So everyone went in on the Monday night and in on the Friday. And I was expecting everyone to just, be like spread out, like not very close relationships. And from the second I went in there, everyone was so close, these relationships had formed. And I was like, have I just gotten myself into? Like, what is this? And I could like sense the girls were very like standoffish. And I thought I was just going to walk into this warm and open and like loving house where everyone would be so excited, and it just was the opposite. So that really caught me off guard.
Yeah, and I could imagine too that like this is different than even entering the game late and everybody is kind of just, maybe there's one or two couples, but like everybody is pretty much just friends. Like this isn't trying to break into
Yeah.
like a friend group as you come in late. Like this is people
No.
have not only friendships but like relationships, you know, like people are actually getting romantic in there. So
yeah, and like me coming in there, I guess that position, and I mean at the end of the day, like that's what as an intruder you're kind of put in there to do. I mean, you're there to threaten relationships and I guess alliances and change the game and provide this entertainment. So yeah, as an intruder though, it's hard to come in with a strategy. I'm like, especially because everyone's so standoffish and the whole game is revolved around connection and building those relationships with people. And I think you're just on the back foot. Like watching my arrival when I came in, the girls, the second I went in there, be like, nah, she needs to get out. It's like you're just not even given a chance.
oh yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that. And we saw it from one person specifically, but before we get to her, because you know we have to discuss that. I am curious about at least some of the other relationships that you had in the house, because we didn't really get to see a lot of. And is that maybe a result of just coming in as an intruder? Like, did you get to make any relationships with anyone else that wasn't negative?
Yeah. So I think it was hard to build connection with the girls. Like straight off the bat, I think Annalise was lovely. She you know, gave me a bit of a house tour. She was very welcoming. She didn't project this mean girl energy that I kind of felt from some of the others. She was very warm and very loving. So like, great. And I really appreciated her being in, for the short period of time we were in there together. And then the other relationships I think I formed, I mean, Teejay and I, we were lucky. Like we went in together and I think we were really close, and probably a lot closer than what was portrayed and shown on TV. We were very, very solid, and we were like quite. And then I think I had a really good relationship with Jake. That just took a bit of a turn in the end, but he really got me through, I think, at the end, because I felt very isolated. I can't even talk about Jake. But yeah, he was great. So no, I did have some good relationships. Yeah, anyway, that's like a whole nother topic, Jake, isn't it?
we did have a couple of questions planned for Jake.
Yeah, that's for a little later.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there.
Yeah,
no, you didn't.
No,
you didn't. No, we're happy. We're happy he came up. Like, yeah, no, we definitely have some questions there.
Yeah.
But before we get there,
yeah,
I feel like before we get there, I feel like we do have to dive into a little something else, because, you know, we saw you came into the house as an intruder. There's already some personal relationships forming. And I believe it was your first interaction with Minee that we saw, where you approached her, said, "Oh, everybody seems so nice. Everyone's getting along so well." And she said to you, "Yeah, I think it's because, you know, it's just a house full of pretty girls, and pretty girls don't necessarily get jealous of each other, you know." And we saw very quickly that maybe took a turn for the worse. And we just need to know, what is the deal with Minee? Because I don't quite understand what happened there so quickly.
Neither do I. Honestly, I think that first conversation where we were sitting by the pool and she was talking about, you know, pretty girls don't really get jealous as much as girls who aren't so pretty. And to be honest, that's what I thought of her, because you look at her and she's stunning. So I was like, what do you have to be threatened about? Like, you're gorgeous. Like, I don't understand the jealousy side of things from her end. And yeah, I think that was like our initial conversation. And I actually kind of thought we got along quite well, like at the start. And then watching it back, I'm just like, that was just horrific. Like, she just was not a fan in any way, shape, or form.
No, it was a tough watch. It was a tough watch. Obviously, the largest offense being the punishment pants debacle.
Oh my gosh.
Was really just like beyond like anything I've quite possibly ever seen on any reality TV like before. Like it really was like
That
really
it was
was too
shocking.
much. Yeah, well, but before we get into even how shocking that was, I just want to give you your kudos and your flowers for the fact that like you held it together the entire time. I don't know how you didn't flip out, how you didn't like start fighting back and stuff like that, because the way that she was carrying on, especially when she managed to get everyone to have 4 people in this one bed and everybody's just sleeping side by
Oh
side,
my god.
literally just to cater to her. It
Oh,
was
it was shocking. Like I feel like for me, I was in the worst possible position. Like TJ and I
absolutely.
were actually very, very close. So when he went in to the king and queen suite, I was like devastated. Like I was really, really upset. And so
Mhm.
as much as I was upset about him being with another girl, I was also upset that I felt like I'd done everything for Minee to like make her feel more comfortable. I mean, like I put on shorts, I put on a jumper because we're in like swimwear. That on, you know, just to be respectful. Mind you, she's in a G-string with Dion, and I mean, you know, each to your own. But I felt like I did what I could. Louie and like, you know, I just did everything I could, and then we were in bed, and she was just like, "Well, fine, I'm just gonna have to stay uncomfortable then." And I'm like, "What do you mean you have to stay uncomfortable? Like, everyone's accommodated to you and done everything for you, so you feel better." And then I'm sitting
Right.
there as well as Jake and other people in a really crappy situation, and she just like she wants validation. She's feeling, and I mean everyone wants that, but she can't give it. She can't give validation. So I think that's her downfall a little bit.
Yeah. It really was something. Like just to see like in that whole crazy situation where everybody has to wear these pants, like you still managed to, you know, find a way for Minee and Louie to be right next to each other. You're sitting there
She
hanging
was
off the
in
side
bed
of the
next to
bed.
him. What?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like this, like huddled in a ball. I want to cry. Like I'm not emotional. Like it takes a lot. And I was just sitting there like so upset, like huddled in this little ball. And honestly, I was like disappointed with the episode because it cut a lot out. But then you see the uncut and it shows a little bit where she started off in another bed, and then she's sitting there like greasing me off, giving me like dirty looks, talking crap to Dion. And I'm sitting there like this, like a little ball, like crying. And then she comes over and she's like, "Why are you crying?" Like that's imprinted in my brain of her saying, "Why are you crying?" And they also
Oh,
didn't
boy.
show, like Louie turned to me and was like, "Oh, Bella, are you okay?" And she's like, "Don't effing speak to her." Like it was that
Wow.
blunt.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, I feel like even, you know, in I don't believe it was that episode. I think it was the next one. Like we saw you say, you know, I feel like I'm, you know, in danger of leaving. Like I feel like I'm wrong for just existing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it felt. Like we hadn't really seen you do anything to instigate, and it was just like constantly just
No.
tearing down Bella for just being a person in the
Yeah.
house.
And the funny thing is, if you want a little bit of like a bit of goss from the outside world, so Louie and I met at our audition. So we were a familiar face to each other going in the house. And he would have come off his audition with me and told some of his friends, like, "Oh, I met this like gorgeous girl, like I really like her." Anyway, so then a week before I went into the house, I actually kissed on a night out Louie's best friend and housemate because Louie had shown him me. So then we were like, I was like, "Oh, Louie, like big brother, like you're his friend." And he was like, "Yeah." So I kissed his friend, and Louie had been told an hour before he went into the house. So the door was shut on Louie and I. There was nothing ever going to happen. Like there was, yeah, that was done between us. So the fact Minee kept pushing this narrative that, you know, I was trying for Louie, I was like, I kissed his best friend, and I actually ended up dating him and living with him andLouie for the last year after filming until we broke up recently.
That
Yeah.
is so
Wow.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole story around that, but yeah, that like sealed the door shut between Louie and I. So I was like, Minee, like I'm not a threat to you.
Like in literally no way, shape, or form.
No, and she just kept going. I think I had conversations with her, and I was like, "Look, I just want to let you know, like, I'm not a threat to you. Like, nothing will ever happen with Louie and I. Like, I respect you as a person, and like, I'm not going to step on your toes, and I'm really sorry if you've ever gotten the impression, but like, it's just a friendship and that's all it will ever be. And then seeing now, like, watching it back and seeing everything come out and everything she said and how much she wanted me out, I was like, what did I do to you?
Ugh.
Yeah. It's not right.
So I guess it's fair to say you are not still in touch with Minee.
No, I mean, we've got a group chat.
Oh, cute.
And so cute. And she's messaging the group chat about how scared she is about the episode of the pants and stuff coming out. But no, we're not really in contact other than, like, you know, in this group chat.
Right. That's fair. Okay. All right. Minee aside, do you feel betrayed by anyone else in the house for, like, your eviction and how things went down?
I honestly feel betrayed by the girls, because I think as girls, and I don't know if this was really kind of shown, but in my eviction I just said, like, I'm like a girl's girl, like, I will, like, back the girls, like, you know, I think we need to support each other and bring each other up. And I never voted for a girl or anything throughout my journey in there. So I kind of felt betrayed in the sense that like, it was the boys running it, and then by the end the girls were all complaining that the boys were running the show in the house, and, you know, deciding who was going to be nominated and this and that. And I'm like, well, we had the power if we actually stuck together and, you know, rallied against them a little bit. And so I think, you know, jealousy really tore down, you know, all the girls in the house. And so I just think, not by anyone in particular, but I think that felt like a bit of a betrayal, because I think, you know, you got to stick together.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely fair.
Yeah, and that's interesting too, because so one of the last things that we saw before the eviction was that you had a conversation with Jake. And we did see that you had shared a kiss. So going into the eviction, you know, at least I was under the impression that you and Jake might vote to save each other, and I guess that would have meant a vote for Taylor to be evicted. So when Sonia was going over the votes, she mentioned that Taylor had only received one vote. And we saw Jake cast his vote for Taylor, which means, of course, that you voted for Jake. So I was just curious what happened with that final vote, and does it have you know, does it have to do with, you know, you not wanting to vote out a girl? And so I'm, you know, just going to put that vote on Jake. Was it really just that reason, or was there something else to that?
Okay, there was a lot that went through my mind in this moment. And someone described the kiss to Jake to me today as an analogy, as if an old woman was to cross the street and you were to help this old woman cross the street, and then she asked you for $50. Like, that's like what the kiss with Jake was like. And so Jake and I, we were very close. Like, I have to say, like, I valued Jake in that house so much, and I felt so alone, and he was, like, there for me, and we were really close. However, in that moment, I had all intention that I would back Jake, like, without a doubt, you know. Anyway, so the conversation finished, and I kind of actually go to get up to leave, because I kind of felt like something was coming. Like, he was started to slur his words a little bit, and I was like, oh no. And he, like, kind of pulls me back in, and he's like, oh, just, you know, if I don't get to see you again, can I have a kiss or something? And I was like, oh, and I just didn't want to break his little heart. He'd had a hard run. And I was like, oh, like, okay. And then the amount of people have now messaged me about my face, like, I, like, pulled away after the kiss. Anyway, so from then, my mindset was, I went into the eviction room with all intention to back Jake. But once I kind of saw the girls coming at me so much, I knew that it was going to be Jake or myself going. I kind of figured Taylor would be safe. And so part of my vote was strategic. I was like, I reckon Jake and I will be close, so maybe one vote could push him out instead of me. The other part was, I also wanted to you know, like stay true to what I said in the sense that like I like will support the girls and I'll back the girls. So that was another motivation for me to vote for Jake and not Taylor. And my other motivation to vote for Jake was I just thought the kiss was so awkward and I didn't know if I could face him again after that. And I think I went to Big Brother being like, what have I done? I didn't really want to kiss him.
Damn, sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
The poor, he's such a sweetheart, but no.
All right, fair enough. I'm very happy to get some more context on that, though.
Yeah.
That's great. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Damn.
It wasn't just this like romantic moment that happened between us.
Right.
Away, and he's like, "Oh, please, like, come okay."
Okay, if I must.
Right.
That's so good.
I'm gonna say I think they made the kiss a little longer than what it really was. I felt like it was a very quick one, but they did it in the episode.
So maybe they
painful
looped
to
some of
look
that
back.
inner footage over and over and over again. Like
Yeah.
draw
Yeah,
this one out.
I'll tell myself that, but in the moment, it felt quick.
That'll help me
And
sleep
TJ
easy tonight.
messaged me last night. Oh god, TJ messaged me yesterday being like, "That makes me sick. I can't believe she kissed him."
It makes him sick, but why? Was that bad, huh?
Oh, yeah, I think TJ and I will probably have a bit of jealousy for like what's happened. Like he's like, I like can't believe that you kissed Jake, and then I'm like, well, I can't believe you ditched me for Ari. Like, what are you doing?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
so
totally fair.
now watching it back, and he has to watch me with Jake, and then I have to watch him with Ari. We're like, this is disgusting.
And you know, I have to be honest. I think TJ really is to blame for everything here, because if he didn't take Ari from Jake, you would have never had to kiss Jake.
Yeah, honestly, we'll all blame it on TJ.
It's all
That
TJ's
sounds
fault.
fair.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Do you keep in touch with anyone else from the house?
Yeah, so Annalise and I are quite close. Like I went to Queensland and visited her. She's
nice.
lovely. Like we get along really well. And I think we bond because for finale we all went and stayed in Sydney in Australia, and we were in the same hotel, so we were hanging out. Gracie May, when I went to Queensland, came out and saw me, so that was really nice. I talked to Gracie May quite like a bit here and there. Talked to Jake. I actually saw Dion and Jake on a night out the other week, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
Very
So that
fun.
was good. And then, yeah, TJ and I, we speak every day. Like we call every day, we speak every day. So, yeah, we get along well.
Oh, love that.
I love
like
that.
hearing Yeah, I love
Yeah.
hearing that. And it's also interesting to me that Gracie May, we ask everyone that we've spoken to since this season began, like, who do you speak to after the fact, you know, all that. Gracie May is the one like common person that everyone keeps in touch with. She seems like the most bubbly, like fun, positive person. Would you say that's an accurate representation of her?
Oh, she's carried that show. Like she has so much value. Like she's just so like such a nice girl with like so much personality. And I think she's like always the first person, like we've got in our group chat, like she's always the first person after an eviction to be like, oh, you did so amazing. Like she messaged the group chat last night about me being like, oh, you did so amazing. Like we all love you. And so, yeah, I think she's like a very motherly, like she really like looks out for everyone. And funnily enough, I was just speaking to Maddie Ross, who's just come in and she's saying how, yeah, like great the other person like she keeps in contact with. So yeah, she's lovely. Like she's such a nice girl, and I think she makes time for everybody. So it's nice.
Excellent.
Nice. Yeah.
We love hearing that because like we're fans of Gracie May.
We
and
love Gracie May in this house.
Yeah. And the worst thing is finding out that like,
I
oh,
love
this
her.
person that you've been loving is actually not as nice as you thought. So it's so good to be
like she's
validated.
just,
So thanks for validating us.
it is. Yeah, no,
good.
she's lovely. I honestly couldn't really say a bad word about her.
Fantastic. Good.
Yeah.
If you had this whole experience to do all over again, is there anything that you think you might do differently?
watch Big Brother before I went in.
Oh.
That would have been really helpful.
Fair.
Do you know what? Now that I'm watching it, and this is just going to sound like a real like stirring the pot kind of thing. Watching it back and like seeing how everything's being played out in all the episodes, and knowing what I know about like Louie, like despite the fact that I kissed his friend and I ended up dating him and whatever, and if I take all that away, I wish that I went in and like just gunned for Louie, like went straight for Louie, like whatever, like Scrivener, whatever, just went for Louie, because I just think if I was to do that one strategically, that would have made my like place safer. And Louie said to me after the show, he's like, babe, he was like, if you went for me, he was like, I would have carried you to the end. Like I would have carried you through. So I think he would have really backed me if I'd like gone for him. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that could have like really, really changed things up if I had done that and took a bit more of a strategic approach and didn't kiss his friends. But you live and you learn.
Yeah, you didn't know what you were walking into. Not your fault. You can't be judged for that.
Right.
No.
I guess I do have one additional question now that you mentioned that. So when the big pink box had come up, Dion was asked a question of, what couple do you think is actually going to make it outside of the house? And he was very candid in saying that he did not believe that Louie and Minee would make it.
Right.
Did they?
Well, that was no, of course not. Of course they didn't. I think like Louie's just like, she's hot. That's about it. Like, and his messages are coming up on my phone like while we've been talking, being like, she's like screwed. Like I can't stand it.
Oh my God.
Like she's just hot.
Oh man,
that's so exciting.
And so I think when we all had to stay in a hotel for finale, I think they like got along for a few days, but I think once she went to Perth, he came to Melbourne, that was it.
How far are those two cities apart, like Perth and Melbourne?
That's a really good question that I don't quite know the answer to. Probably like a couple hour plane ride. I don't even know where Perth is.
Ride,
Melbourne's here. Is Perth that way? I don't know. Probably like 3 hour plane ride.
I mean, you know better than we do.
I don't know. I think it's like a 3 hour-ish plane ride. I've actually never been.
Oh, okay. So it's significantally far away. Like we're not just talking about hopping in the car for an afternoon or something. Like you're far.
No. Like it would be like, even for example, Melbourne to Gold Coast, it's like an 18-20 hour drive.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
So like everything's very far.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, it wouldn't work. One of distance and one from the crazy factor.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not surprised, but fair.
Yeah, no. They looked cute in the house, and like I vouched for them quite a bit in the house. I was like kind of narrating all the couples, and I was like, I think they're really cute together. Like they're Barbie and Ken vibes. Like they're cute. But I think Louie held on to that very strategically, that relationship in the house.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right. No, it feels like the couples have been really dominating this game. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I think that for Teejay going for Ari was a strategic move as well, because like we're not safe together. Like you're going as an intruder, you're the first ones out. So probably I just like act on like my emotion and like how I'm feeling. So like I was vibing Teejay, but like that's not smart going into a house where you've got to make connections with other people to be safe. And I think it was smart on his behalf to go to Ari, because then they're essentially playing as a team of four. Like it's Tay and Josh, and then Ari and Teejay, or Ari and Jake.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just like they're so much safer.
Absolutely. Because even if the two of them are voting together, because they only have the one vote between them, you still have the social power of two people.
The surrounding.
Yeah. It's a really safe duo to kind of go with. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, would you ever play Big Brother again? Now that you know what it is?
Do you know what? I think if you asked me for the first 6 months post filming, probably not, because I came out like traumatized.
I would understand
But
that.
now it's been a little bit longer. Yeah, now it's been longer. I would like to do it again, but I probably wouldn't do it as an intruder. And if I was to do it as an intruder, I'd probably be more prepared and equipped for what I was going into. So I wouldn't, take things so much to heart, and probably play with a little bit more strategy behind it. So look, it's not a no. I would do it again, and I think I could make much better relationships if I went in as an original
from the
cast
beginning.
member.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a lot of fun to watch you play again too, because I feel like coming in as an intruder in a theme where it's House of Love, what must have been such a difficult thing to do. Like, I would love to watch you play the game from the beginning with everybody else starting on the same, level.
Yeah.
Because you were a lot of fun
Also,
to watch.
just
Yeah,
like to be able to see you play without having your whole story arc being like a rivalry against just one person too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, like, you look at all the people who went in from the start, they were just strong. And I think if I went in at the start, I would be able to show a bit more personality. Like, because I went in later and everyone's hating on you, how are you supposed to like be yourself and express yourself
Right.
and act normal when you've got so many people against you? Like, you're never going to feel comfortable. So I think if I went in from the start, I was like a physical threat. I'm athletic. I have a lot to offer. And I think I had a lot more to give, but I just wasn't given like the right platform to be able to do that. So I think, I would be so interested to go in from the start.
Yeah.
It'd be great. Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully you get to see you on our TV screens again.
Yeah.
What is next for you now? And where can our listeners and watchers find you?
Well, what's next for me now? That's a really good question. I feel like I've just my life's been on hold a little bit, like waiting for everything to come out. But now that's all out, I'm so excited just to see kind of what journey that takes you on. And I mean, I love doing a bit of social media stuff and modeling and all of that. So hopefully I can continue with that. And I'd love to, make a YouTube channel, podcast, etc., and move into kind of that domain, which I think would be really good. So yeah, we'll kind of just see what the future holds, I guess. I feel like you don't know how you're going to be depicted. So I was like, I could just be hated, and maybe I just want to go live in the dark room and never speak to anyone again. But I think you just don't know how you're going to be made out to be. So I think it's a lot of anticipation.
Hey, well, you entered the house as the queen, and we still think of you as a queen, so don't worry.
Oh, stop it. Thank you. My crown on. Thank you.
So what are your social media handles? Where can our friends find you?
So my social media handles, Instagram, Bella Summers, TikTok, Bella Summers.
We like that.
Excellent.
Continuity
Easy.
across the board.
Easy
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Easy. I can't wait to get my Instagram back.
Yeah, have you really had it gone for a year now? Is that?
No. So how it was is that I have had access to it for the past year, but probably the month leading up to the show airing. I didn't even know they did this, but they log you out of your account. So I've got no access to Instagram, no access to TikTok. I can't see messages.
Oh, so you have it, you just lose it again when it's airing. Because we thought that you guys didn't have it from the time you entered the house until now.
No. Oh, so from when we entered the house, we don't have our phones and everything was put on private. But yeah, I have had access to it since it finished airing. But yeah, a month before they, started airing the show, they took all of our accounts. So yeah, so Teejay and I thought it'd be funny to on the last few days we had our accounts message each other some naughty things to keep the producers entertained. They're looking through our messages.
I love that.
We'll give them something good to look at.
So good. Well, we love a good relationship too. That's really cute. Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful I went in with him. I feel like not many people had their person in the house and got to experience it with someone, and having him to do it with was made it a lot better, I think. So grateful to have him.
Great.
So at least there was a bright spot in there because it didn't look like there were many for you. So happy to hear that. Good.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't a bright spot at the time. I think I called him a twat. I was not his biggest fan. But I mean, from now on, I think I called him like a playboy or something. He wasn't happy with that, but that's okay.
All right. It is sort of how he was coming off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just leave that one there.
You win some
Exactly.
and you lose some. Yeah. Maybe I need to cut him off. I try and tell my friends, like, he's really nice. My friend's like, no, like, I hate him. Like, I don't want to buy him. Can't stand him.
Jeez.
And I'm like, okay. I'm just like the dumb girl that chases red flags.
Yeah, that's all of us here. Well, I mean, not John, but Gina and I for sure. Yeah.
Sure.
We have our troubles. We have our troubles.
Yeah. I'll learn one day.
Maybe not. I think this might just be our lives. This is what we are.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
Accept it,
A lifetime full of misery. No, that's horrible. No.
Oh god.
No.
That got dark.
And that's the note that we sign off on. All right. Well, good luck to you.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Nice
so
to
silly.
talk to you
Did John or
guys.
Gina, do you have anything else for Bella? We've taken up 36 minutes of her time.
Yeah.
I think
No,
that's
I don't
all
have any.
got.
Yeah. No other questions.
So
Just thank you
fun.
so much for taking the time to talk to us. That's it.
No, of
No,
course.
this
you guys
was
are
an
great.
absolute
Thanks for
blast.
talking to
Thanks for
me.
spending the time with us. Anyone else listening, watching,
of
find
course.
us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod, and we're out of here. Thanks for hanging.